it's good to be able to do things by yourself.
Yeah.
Because if not, you kind of lose your identity.
Yeah.
In the sense where once, if you do have that alone time, you don't know what to do with yourself anymore. You lose yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's important to always, recognize that it's great to have a significant other, but you can still stand on your own 2 feet by yourself and still be happy. Hi, welcome to the Magnetic Mismatch Show. My name is Linda.
And this is Will. And apparently I have a lot of thinking time to do today.
Yeah. So Will told me that
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. He what happens his wife in the morning makes him do the dishes?
No, he chooses to do. So he has a morning routine, and part of his morning routine is he likes to do household stuff and spend time with his family, right? So he makes breakfast for his family, he does the dishes, and what he was saying was that he finds it kind of therapeutic because during the dishwashing, it's such a mundane task, you don't really have to think about anything. So that's actually the time that he uses for creative thinking.
Yeah.
And then I shared that story with you.
Yeah.
And it backfired.
Yeah. So now every time I put a cup or a dish or a bowl and in the sink, I scream out, "Hey, honey, you have thinking time.
Yeah.
More thinking time.
More thinking time. You have a lot of thinking time." And now that's carried over from dishwashing into other things too.
Into laundry.
Basically all the household chores.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I'm going to be really freaking smart after a while.
You better come up with $1 billion idea or something. With all
so much thinking time
with
now.
all this thinking time,
especially during this quarantine. Anyway, so our topic today is, do we lose our own individuality in a relationship?
Yeah.
Is that your answer? Yeah.
No, I say the answer is yes and no. I don't think you lose your individuality, but I think it's natural that some of the traits kind of carries over, and you kind of adopt the other person's certain quirks that they do, or certain things that they do, or good or bad, right? Because your personality and who you are constantly changes depending on who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And I think it's natural that you do change over time because
you evolve, right?
Yeah, you evolve. If someone told me that I was the same person last year, I'd be offended.
Really?
Yeah, because I would like to think that I've gained, different life experiences and exposure to become hopefully a better person.
Better version of yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty natural, like you said, right? The more time you spend with anybody, let alone just your spouse, that's why they say you have to choose very carefully who you spend your time with, because whether you like it or not, you're probably going to start becoming more like those people that you hang around with, right? So I think in this case, I think it's important to acknowledge that that will happen, whether you choose to or not, but making sure you remember to also still maintain your own identity
is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think when you talk about identity or individuality, tongue twister, you could probably classify it, right, in 3 types of identities. Each spouse has their own identity, and then as a couple, as a unit, you also have an identity that other people kind of see you as, right?
Yeah. And I think, being in a relationship, especially as you're together longer, it gets a little tricky. But I think it's very important to kind of define the relationship and structure it in a way where each person can grow themselves individually and that you're growing yourself as a couple.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think because what we've seen and what we've experienced before was like when you're in a relationship and all you do is spend every freaking minute, every waking hour joined at the hip, it's not a good thing in my opinion. It's not necessarily like the healthiest thing you could do. I mean, there's positives and things that come from spending time with each other and being more like the other person.
Yeah.
But like if that's all you spend your time doing without having any other time with like your own friends or your own family, that's not really the healthiest thing.
Yeah, and I've seen situations where a person brings their significant other to every function, every like friends hang out, even though it's only like, let's say, the original crew, right? Whoever that may be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to just have those people there, 'cause you could talk about things where
Right.
other people don't understand, and you don't have to stop and explain.
And they don't feel excluded, right?
Yeah, I feel excluded, and then you can just be yourself and
like before the relationship.
Before the relationship. And I've heard comments like, oh, does that person always have to bring blank?
Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
we've all been there.
We've all been there. Or it's like or it's like people always have to get permission, which is fine, right? But then it's sometimes they make it so difficult that you can't even take out just to have a hangout with just that person. Right? They always have to be there. Yeah.
Like a third wheel or something.
Yeah, like a third wheel.
I think I find that actually interesting because you know how so everybody has like their own circle of friends, their own social circle before they get into a relationship, of course, right? But then for some reason, like we expect that just because we're in a relationship now that we are supposed to, or we're expected to get along and hit it off with your friends, for example, right? Like if I'm coming into the relationship and I'm expected to have the same level of friendship that you have with your friends and vice versa.
Yeah.
That's kind of unrealistic. You know what I mean? Because I didn't share the same experiences together with your friends or went through like battles together, right?
And there
Metaphorical,
could be
of course.
Personality differences too. And
I mean, we'll always be cordial and we'll be friendly and we'll make an effort, but you can't expect like how close you are with your friends for me to be the same way with your friends, and vice versa. I wouldn't expect you to have that same.
And sometimes it's nice just to feel like, just like the way things were, right?
Yeah.
And I like sometimes I feel, like I don't take you to every event, right?
No, you don't.
I know. And I don't always travel with you or
She's saying it with a smirk too, by the way.
I enjoy doing things without you. Well, I do. I enjoy doing things with you too. Don't
yeah,
get me wrong.
thank you. Please,
but
come on.
I don't want to get myself in trouble here. But yeah,
you're very careful with your words right now.
But I do enjoy alone time without you.
Yeah, and having your own things and hanging out with your own friends. And
I think it makes the relationship a little bit more interesting, right? And because I can talk about experiences that I experience with my friends to you, and it's fun to talk about.
I love hearing about it.
Yeah, and then also, I want my friends to know that they still have me. Me doesn't come with me and you, right?
Yeah.
It's not you don't always have to be in the picture. That they still have their girl.
Okay, I see you. And you're not saying it, but I think the other part of it is also you're able
a break from you.
Yeah, it's a break for me, but it's also like you can vent probably, right? Like you can vent to your friends.
Actually, I don't really talk about you much.
Wow.
Yeah, I disconnect myself.
I know. I'm just kidding. I don't really care. I don't care. Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy disconnecting myself.
Yeah, but I'm saying that for people, it's nice to have friends because let's be real, right? In any real relationship, right? The real world, we're not talking about like movies and stuff like that. People have arguments, even healthy, good relationships. People
Yeah.
fight, people have disagreements, people have times of like tension or when it's awkward and whatever, right? Like you need time apart, and it's nice to have someone to listen to you kind of vent a little bit.
Yeah, and it's good to have girl talk. And
Yeah,
for you, guy
exactly.
talk.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Time with the boys, time with the girls. And I think that's just like, that's a healthier thing versus like you don't have any of that and it's just you and your partner. You're going to drive each other crazy.
Yeah. And I always encourage you to hang out with your guy friends because right? Because there's
Yeah.
activities and things that you don't want to do.
And things that there's things that only me and the guys can like share, right? And then there's things that you and your girls can share with each other without having your partner there. It's kind of awkward, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or it can be awkward.
Yeah.
There's certain topics or certain things, right? That we talk about that I wouldn't be comfortable sharing with you.
Yeah, and there's the importance of integration, but there's the right time and place to do that.
Of course.
But I think the best part of you having your own friends is that number one, if I don't want to do an activity because I don't enjoy camping
Or outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah, I'll do it once in a while.
You will. I'll give you that.
I will surprise you.
Yeah.
To show you that I'm still athletic enough to do stuff like that.
Yes,
and
like
prove you wrong.
When you went on your trip
to Maine
with one of your girlfriends, and I was shocked because I didn't believe that you would be going.
Like I did like a 6-mile hike and a 4-mile bike or something in a day.
And that is very out of character for you.
Yeah.
That's not something you would normally sign up for.
No. But I do
voluntarily.
No. But I'll sometimes go out of my norm or comfort zone because I want to be able to share an experience with one of my girlfriends that
was a really good
is more athletic or like I still want to bond with them. So but I'm glad I did it. I had a blast.
Yeah.
It's something we can always laugh about, right?
Right.
Like how I don't think I got injured either, so that's good.
Yes, that's really good. I don't. Were you going in expecting to get injured or something?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, you guys did like what? Biking too?
Biking.
Which I
hiking.
would love. I would pay to see you biking right now.
Right,
I haven't seen it before.
Pay me and go rent a bike. I'll do it.
But it's just funny. Yeah, it is out of your character for at least as long as I've known you. That's not really like the first thing I see you doing or wanting to go do.
Yeah. So when you talk about, I want to do canyoneering or zip lining or riding a bike down the volcano, I would much prefer.
Which those are all things that we've done.
That
I've done with my boys. Yeah.
Yeah. I would much prefer you call somebody else. And I would just like to hear about it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? And it's cool that we have those separate activities or separate interests that we can share in laughing and listening and hearing about. But, it doesn't mean you have to be on every one of those adventures or excursions either, which is really, really interesting.
And the funny thing is that I really enjoy when Will goes on his guys trip because it's almost a guarantee that it's going to be like a funny, entertaining story to come with it.
Well, our most recent trip, I guess it's not the most recent.
Your bachelor trip.
Yeah, that's
2 years ago.
Yeah. Was that 2 years ago now?
With your guy friends?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Like a year and a half. Well,
our most recent trip was the one with our parents to Europe.
Yeah.
Right. But the one before that, before we got married, we had our bachelor trip. You guys had your bachelorette, and it was really fun just sharing the stories after we came back, right?
We both went to Canada.
We didn't have to share every detail, right? But it was funny just hearing some of the highlights and things that happened and all that, Just the living situation alone was interesting, right? Where did you guys stay?
We stayed at a hotel. We had a suite.
Well, you guys were in Toronto, right?
Yeah, we were in Toronto. We stayed in pretty close to downtown Toronto. We had a hotel room.
What kind of hotel room?
A suite with a little bedroom.
5-star hotel? Something like that? A nice hotel.
A nice hotel.
Very nice hotel.
I don't know if it's 5-star, but Well, I don't know.
As
Probably.
it was a nice hotel.
Yeah, it's a nice hotel we stayed at.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
And
every night though, we did go to a 5 star plus, like a 5 star hotel. I mean, 5 star dining, luxury dining. So
like
that was,
restaurant.
yeah. So that was the one thing that we did every night was luxury dining. And for lunches, we went to like pretty nice places too. And for one of the days, we had lunch at a vineyard, and after we saw Niagara Falls, and then one of the nights, it's so funny because we went into this restaurant, and our host or waitress that night was like, "Hey, where are you guys from?" We're like, "LA," and she's like, "Oh, were you the girl that I shared a ride to when I was in LA?" Because she went, I guess, like a month before she went to LA, and she happened to be
What?
in LA, and she shared a ride with also an Asian girl.
Oh, okay. It wasn't really you
No,
though.
it's
She
not
thought it
me.
was
She
you.
thought it was me.
Oh,
An
okay,
Asian
okay. I
girl
was like,
that's
whoa,
about
that's
to
freaky.
that's about to get married too.
I
Because
see.
I told her it's for my bachelorette party.
Yeah.
So she asked, "Hey, are you that girl I
Oh,
shared
damn.
the ride with?" And I go, "No, unfortunately, it's not me." Yeah, and then but the fact that I told her it's my bachelorette party, she kept the restaurant open for another 3 to 4 hours after it was closed. So we
Yeah,
got a
just for you guys, right?
yeah, so
To
we
hang
got like
out.
a private dining experience, and this restaurant was very cool because when you look downstairs, you can look directly into the kitchen, and see the chef making pastries and cakes, and yeah, she kept serving us
Hmm.
even after
That's really
the
nice.
restaurant closed.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool
that was
treatment.
so
Yeah. I'm
nice.
sure that was like an unexpected, nice surprise that kind of highlighted part of the trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Sounds like you guys got pampered and were like relaxed and had a very like bougie experience.
yeah. We went shopping. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
So no issues with your living situation, huh?
No, we had a grand old time. It was
Well, we are on the bachelor trip, so we went to Canada as well, but we actually went to Montreal, which before the trip we were kind of like Montreal, like it's not like usually the first. At least we didn't know that it was a top destination for bachelor parties, but man, it was awesome. Uh, but the funny thing was like we decided against your advice because when we were planning the trip, we were debating between doing Airbnb or hotel, and you said do a hotel. Like why would you do Airbnb?
because I'm like, okay, there's how many guys? 6 of you
I
guys?
think there were like seven.
7?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seven total.
I'm like, okay, because when you come back tired, especially because I saw what you were going to do or planning on doing,
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are gonna be tired. Like, who's gonna,
Do all the like the
yeah,
cleaning
the
and all that stuff.
cleaning and or like the just wash your sheets, and it's just like little
You're
things
talking
like
about
that.
guys here. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
but
kidding.
still, like clean out the showers, like it's very helpful.
Yeah, you look, the way we thought about it, and we ended up doing an Airbnb because we wanted to like be able to it's almost like share a house together. That's kind of cool. Like, we felt like we could bond a little bit more that way
You
instead
could
of
have
just
gotten
being
a
in
big
separate.
suite.
Yeah, I guess we could have
Yeah,
done that.
yeah.
Whatever, somehow, and we wanted to
Okay,
save money, all right?
okay,
We
okay,
wanted to save money.
okay.
And so we got an Airbnb, and it was crazy because when we got there, we walked in, and mind you, this was like, was it July or something? So it's pretty hot outside. It was like during summer, right?
Yeah.
Around that time, it was pretty hot. It was like in the 90s, maybe triple digits on some of the days. But as soon as we walked inside, what would you expect, right? From a like temperature standpoint.
A cool house.
AC,
Yeah.
right? No, this was like a heater, like a blow dryer blasting at your face as soon as we opened the door. And we're like, what
Like an
the?
oven.
Yeah, we're like, what's going on? Like, why did they just not turn on the AC or what's did something break? So we walked in, and then not only was it hot as hell, it was like there was hot air blowing out of the vents. I think someone left the heater on And we didn't. It was weird because this Airbnb house that we were staying in, we couldn't find like the switch to turn off the the heater. Eventually we found it, but we had to call the landlord, basically like, hey, we've been here all day and it's freaking hot, man. Like you could not stay in there. There's like little fans that they had to. And basically the landlord was like, oh yeah, the switch is, I guess, under the sofa somewhere. We're like, what? It was like some pipe that was like leaking out hot air or something. So that was already bad. And the rooms, oh, it looked fine on the photos. Like when you're scrolling through listings, it's like, oh, that looks pretty decent. And compared to a hotel, we're saving a decent amount of money. Actually, it wasn't that big of a difference, but it was some savings.
Yeah.
And the beds were like super soft, broken, kind of in like it felt like a college dorm room. It's kind of the best way I could describe it. Nothing against college dorm rooms, but this house was
Talk about the curtains.
there were no curtains in the bathroom for the bathtub. And there was a big window that pretty much exposed you to all the neighbors. So you're kind of like showering without any curtains and everybody can see you through that window, one of the bathrooms. And then also it was like walking into a freaking haunted house. Like that's how you can describe it. It was like a haunted house because there were lights that weren't working. The refrigerator door was squeaky. It was, like I said, it was hot as hell already. And then there was also a trap door. Like, like, what is going on? Like, they're like, hey, there's a trap door here. And it's like a dark, danky, like
a dungeon?
Like a dungeon. And we're like, oh man, I don't want to go down there. But it was just so funny. We were uncovering
you guys shine the light down there?
Then we're like goofing around, but we didn't go down there, of course.
Yeah.
And then it was just so shady. And then like the other, so it's like 2 floors. One floor was like, I think 2 bedrooms or something like that, 2 or 3 bedrooms. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of us went upstairs. Well, 2 of us went upstairs, which was where the other 2 rooms were. But it was like this spiral, weird stairway, very dangerous. And you can easily trip at night because there's no light there either.
Oh no.
So you had to go upstairs. Imagine like a whole day just hanging out and stuff and then coming back.
Drinking.
Yeah, like your
balance is already off.
You're buzzed or you're drunk and like you're trying to stumble up the stairs. You could easily fall. It was so dangerous, right? But somehow if you make it upstairs and you go inside, then the rooms up there were even worse. I felt a little scared, like sleeping on the bed. I'm like, man, are there like bed bugs on this thing? Or like, I felt so bad because I was the one that kind of picked the Airbnb, and I felt bad because all the guys chipped in money, right? Like they're paying for this, and it's such a horrible experience. But it was like it wasn't as bad as I'm just.
But it's something you're always going to remember.
It was very memorable. It was very funny. We all made the best of the situation, which that's what I give everybody credit for, right? Nobody was complaining. We were all kind of like laughing about it, and there's some really hilarious stories from the trip that obviously I'm not going to share here, but I've told you, and we all have like a great memory from that trip because of that house too, right? It wasn't all that, but it was just funny, and you had a blast hearing it. So so it's nice, right? Like we've had other trips and done other things, right? Apart, away from each other, and we're able to share that together, and it's nice to hear it without me having to be on every one of your trips or you being on every one of my trips. So,
and I think it gets a little toxic for the relationship too, is that if one person is too clingy, and they don't allow, let's say,
and the other person is very independent,
and they don't allow that person to express their independent side, then it could create a lot of tension.
The other person might feel trapped,
and
right?
feel trapped too.
There's so much control.
Yeah. So I think the best way is, to integrate someone into your life, but also let them live their own life.
Yeah. But you wouldn't be offended if like I wanted to do something just with my guys and go somewhere maybe that
You know the answer to that. It's no.
Yeah, that's true. For you,
Because
it's kind of cool. I'm very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, I'm very independent.
You're very independent, and which I appreciate. And you never say no. Like when I do let you know, I do respect you enough to be like, hey, I'm here. I'm thinking about going on this trip, or the guys want to go on a trip here to somewhere. I know I don't need to ask for your permission, right? But I out of respect, I want to let you know, and I'm hoping you support me, and you always have, which is cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me.
Yeah, but I think here's the thing: what if like you're in a relationship, and let's say you weren't cool with me going, and I think as if I wanted to go on a trip and you weren't cool with me going, I would want to know why. Is there something that's bugging you about me going on this trip? And if it's something that I feel is valid and I see where you're coming from, then I might reconsider. But if you just flat out said, no, you can't go, and you don't explain to me why, I think I would be offended.
Yeah. I think
I'm slighted. I'm offended by you.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a dangerous trip, right?
Yeah.
I would obviously
You have said no to something then.
And then what?
Actually, like, yeah, you're right. If my safety is in jeopardy, or something.
I don't think I've ever said no to a trip, but I've said no to certain activities.
Yeah, that's true.
Where I'm like, no, because that's way too risky.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's
like bungee jumping or something.
Yeah.
I've done zip lining.
Yeah, that's different.
I've jumped in a tank with sharks. That's fine too.
Yeah, that's fine too.
That was all regulated.
Yeah, certain things I'm okay with, right? Certain little risks.
Yeah.
Some risk is fine, but when it becomes a little too dangerous, then I hesitate.
Yeah.
But
no, I hear you.
Yeah, but it's good that I get to voice my opinion, and at the end of the day, I still respect your decision, right? If that's your lifelong dream is to do that, then I think I wouldn't stop you.
Yeah. But it's about talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, if you don't feel comfortable letting your significant other or spouse do things on their own, I think it's a good time to kind of reflect on why you constantly feel that way.
Right.
Is it because you don't trust them?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then that's another bigger issue that you have to work through.
Yeah. Is it about the trip, or is it about whatever it is, like spending time with their friends?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that causing you to feel insecure, or to not want to let that other person do that thing, whatever that thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be not even a trip. It could just be as simple as going out with the guys to get a drink. What kind of trigger does that make for you, right? For example, if like, oh, well, like you said, maybe trust is the issue.
Yeah.
But then it would be up to you. You got to tell me that that's what it is. I don't trust you going out drinking with your friends because blank, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And I feel like it's good to be able to do things by yourself.
Yeah.
Because if not, you kind of lose your identity.
Yeah.
In the sense where once, if you do have that alone time, you don't know what to do with yourself anymore.
We've seen that a lot.
Yeah. You lose yourself. You lose yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's important to always, recognize that it's great to have a significant other, but you can still stand on your own 2 feet by yourself and still be happy.
Right. I think the issue, what I see is, and where it becomes unhealthy, is when you tie your own self-worth, your own value, right? Your own, you need to get validation from external things, right? Whether it's from your partner or other people, and it's not coming from within, right? You're not getting fulfillment or validation from yourself, and that comes by being okay being apart. You don't want to be so codependent on the other person that you don't know how to function without the other person there with you.
Yeah.
I've seen it in college. There was one couple or one guy that lived there in our dorms where they were known as, oh, that's the guy and his girlfriend. And at the time that they would not talk to anybody else. They would shut themselves out from everybody else. It was only the two of them all the time.
Yeah.
And the one time I think the girlfriend was out of town or something, like that person literally didn't know what to do, like just awkward in front of everybody. And like they didn't know how to, I don't know, interact with other. There was nothing built there either. There's no relationship or foundation with anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think when that happens, though, the bad thing is that if you build your entire life
Around that
person, the bad thing is that you kind of lose your support system.
Yeah, you do.
Right? So just in case the relationship doesn't work out, or even if it does work out,
You don't have anybody else.
You don't have a support system. So if you want to vent to somebody or
ask for help,
yeah. or get a different perspective, you don't have anybody to go
right?
to.
Because you might be in a relationship and everything is revolved around that person, and you start alienating other relationships that you have, whether it's with your family or with your friends prior to the relationship, right, that you had. You're no longer nurturing and enhancing and growing those relationships because you're spending all your time and energy only with this person, this other partner of yours, which is, I don't know. I think it's kind of flattering. It's kind of cool that they want to spend that much time with you, but it's also like we were saying,
but it's
right?
also a balance.
It's a healthy balance to be able to spend time with other people and apart as well, you know?
Yeah. And it's good to get exposure to other people, just because you get to hear, about their relationship, maybe learn a thing or two that they're doing that it's great, right?
Yeah.
That you can take back to your relationship, or let's say if you get into an argument, a disagreement, or something's been bothering you about the relationship, you can talk to your friends and maybe they'll have a fresh perspective that you didn't see.
That's helped us in the past before, for sure.
Yeah, and we've hung out with other couples before too, right? And I think it's very helpful.
I think when you expose yourself to other people aside from just your partner, it really allows you, like anything else, right, to expand your perspective, your outlook on life. You may get a different view or opinion or ideas or experiences, and those things can enhance your relationship. It could help you guys become even stronger together. You know, it's just, we never want to, I think it's just healthy, like anything, right? You don't want to go so extreme because too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like eating ice cream, ice cream's great, but if you keep eating ice cream so much, you're gonna impact your health. You're gonna get a tummy ache, right? Like all these things.
Yeah. And I think with anything, you have to kind of schedule it into your life too, for that to happen. Like I know for Will and I, before the quarantine, I was going home to see my parents every week, and the agreement was I spend 2 to 3 weeks with them alone, and then Will comes in the 4th week together. So as a couple, so we were spending time as a couple and as just alone, just individuals.
Yeah.
And same way goes with Will's family.
Yeah. I do my sibling calls once a month.
Yeah.
I talk to my parents, over the phone without you being there. But we also have times where we're there together as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the healthy balance because, they're my siblings. They're my parents, right? And I should be spending time with them, just with us. And even though you're family now, right? I think it's important to still have that unique relationship between just me and those people, and then you're also included on a separate time.
Yeah.
Right.
Because how they're so how they behave when I'm not there is going to be different.
Right.
Because
that's what it comes down to.
Certain things that, as a family you can talk about openly.
It's just different bonds.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't expect them to feel comfortable behaving the same way they would with just you there.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's the same with friends, like we were saying, your closest friends, they're your closest friends because you guys have shared experiences that are unique to you guys. Yeah. And it's hard for a person that wasn't there with you to experience the same things. We'll be able to build new experiences together, which will be cool, and we'll be able to look back on and bond on.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important, to have that time together as a couple, but also time apart, which is equally important, I think. Yeah. So I think the realization that we've come to, and we hope that you're hearing, is that you know you as an individual are unique, right? You offer things that nobody else on this planet can offer, and I think you should look at it as a gift, right? It's a gift to your partner that you're different or that you are you. And that's enough, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to try to like conform and become exactly like your partner to please them, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
I think those differences that you bring to the table can complement, or the strengths that you bring to the relationship is what complements the other person. And that's what makes things interesting, right? It's what makes, they call it the spice of life, right? The differences are the spices that
Yeah.
makes things worth living,
Yeah.
makes
And
life worth living is what I meant.
yeah, and you're special.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully you mean that in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, we're all special in our own ways. And it'll be a shame to be able to, it'll be a shame to lose your identity
Or to suppress that,
or
right?
to suppress that.
Just because you want to
Yeah.
please the other partner.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That's all I have.
Same here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode. We are on Apple Podcasts, as you know. If you enjoyed the episode, please do give us a 5-star rating and make sure to subscribe so that you'll download our new episodes every week, which come
On
out.
Thursday.
Yes, on Thursdays. And be sure to share our content with others if you think that they can benefit or enjoy our content as well. And then lastly, we do also have our social media, right? Instagram at Magnetic Mismatch and our YouTube channel as well. So check us out there if you have some time.
Until next time.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.